Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode we will be taking a look at the Crkt Heiho. Stay tuned. So I picked this knife up at Lowe's. I couldn't believe they started carrying Crkt, as well as the Camillus, which I don't recommend buying anymore at this point. But both the Crkt and the Camillus come in this stupid packaging, and in the process of trying to get this out of the packaging, I stabbed my finger. And the reason why is because I had this open and I was trying to pull this plastic tray, which was upside down, inside it out, and the knife dropped out a little bit and went through this part into my finger when I was holding it like this. So Lowe's, this stuff is dangerous and stupid, and you've taken clamshell to complete idiocy. Okay, enough said. This is the Crkt Heiho. I'm going to let you take just a quick look here, and then we'll get in close and start talking about what this knife is all about. Here we have the Crkt Heiho, designed by James Williams. James Williams is well known for martial arts. He's an instructor, and he's also a knife designer. He's designed several knives, sort of Japanese influence. This is classified as a assisted opening folder, and I'll go ahead and show you that. You can see comes out nice and quick. Now they state here on the packaging, it's a liner lock, assisted opening, limited lifetime warranty, and it has the designer's name and the name of the knife right there. And they have more specifications on the back. This is made in China, you can see down here. And the packaging, packaged in the USA. The name Heiho means strategy or system of strategy, and that's what these symbols supposed to be right here. I'm not sure if it's upside down, or I am unsure. This design is very specific. It's designed to be concealable, and it's a concealed tactical defense type of knife. That's its specific design, but it also could be used as a scalpel. It's so sharp, it has this secondary edge, as you can see there. You have two edges. It's a modified or Japanese style tanto blade right there. So the blade design makes this a great slasher and stabber. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and do the paper test early that I normally do later on in my reviews. As you can see, it's sharp, very sharp, but it's also a very good stabber. See that? Whoops. Let's do it again. Stab, cut, stab, cut. Very good stabber and cutter. Alright, so I passed the paper test. I'm going to go ahead and just do a little more there, so you can see. So let's talk about the specifications really quick. It's 7 inches long when open, 4 inches when it's closed. So it's a nice compact design, pretty thin too. Its weight is 3.6 ounces, so it's very light, which makes it easy to carry around every day. The blade, as we said, is a Japanese type of Tano or modified Tano blade. The blade itself is 3.125 inches. The thickness is 0.122 inches. The blade material is HCR 14 MOV. There are a lot of YouTube videos and websites that are falsely claiming that this is AS 8. It is not. This is made in China. They used Chinese steel, and it's 8CR14 MOV, which is the equivalent, the Chinese equivalent to AS 8. The hardware roughness, it is 58 to 59, so it's quite hard, which is really good for a blade this size. That's very good. The finish, it's a satin finish. You have a hollow ground that starts about halfway on both edges, which means that you have some nice flat area here to clamp on some sharpening devices that require to be clamped to your knife. The style, again, dual tonneau. I'll let you take a real close look at how it has the two edges right there. Now this is the plain edge version. They do have a combo version where you have the VEF serrations right here, which are, you know, if there are any serrations I've ever wanted on my knife, it would be the VEF, V-E-F-F serrations. They are incredible. And even the designer himself says he likes those serrations, Mr. Williams, and it doesn't affect the performance of the knife as a defensive weapon. Now the deployment is ambidextrous. You could see it has a thumb plate right there. And it's very easy to deploy. You just push out on that thumb plate till you're about 30 degrees, and then the torsion rod takes over, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The material for the handle is gorgeous G10. Just take a look at that. It has that nice grain looking thing going on there. Really, really nice. And underneath these very nice polished G10 scales is some stainless steel liners. They are 2CR13 steel, Chinese steel. Now you can see this is a liner lock right there. And safety. This thing has an extra safety feature, and it's this little thing right here, as you can see. So when it's open, if you want to make sure that the liner lock doesn't move or anything, you just move this safety forward. And what that does is it moves a piece of metal onto this side of the liner, so the liner cannot be pushed anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this in real close, and you can see the piece of metal moving right there. I'm going to go ahead and engage the safety really quick. See how that liner moves? Right there. Safe. And now you can open it. It was all the way down in there. I know it's a little hard to see. Besides the safety, we have a clip, and then you can see that clip is very, very high, so this knife conceals very well in your pocket. You can see it's even with the top of the knife. And the good news is, besides right hand carry, you can make this left hand carry too. You can move the clip to the other side. It is always tip up. There are no tip down options. And we already talked about the assisted opening, how it just flies out after you push it about 30 degrees. It utilizes a torsion bar, and you can see that bar in there. What I'm going to do is go ahead and open and close this a little bit so you can see that bar kind of move. You can see how it pushes the blade. It sort of rests right there on the tang, and you can see that bar pushing down on it. Now this bar that's down in there can actually be removed, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like 99% sure that you can take that out and make it an ordinary knife instead of an assisted opening. You can see that bar is mounted into that hole. Okay, so made in China, but the build quality is very good. It's very solid. No imperfections that I could see. It's just very, very, very nice. So let's go ahead and do some tests. First, let's look at blade centering. And you can see the blade centering is spot on. No problems there. Next, blade retention. Now, this is real important with assisted opening. Okay, so it's not opening. You don't have to worry about it opening up in your pocket. Next is lockup and engagement. So this is a liner lock, so let's see where that liner is. It's completely behind the knife there, behind the tang of the blade, but it has a lot of room to wear, so it has a very good early lockup. This is exactly where you want to see your liner and where you want to see your lockup when you purchase a new knife. And again, if you're worried that it's way too early, this thing, again, you have that lock there, which makes this a virtual fixed blade. Very nice. Blade play, none to speak of. There is no blade play. Now, we already did the paper cut test. It's not the sharpest knife I've ever had, but it's pretty sharp. And it did a good job actually stabbing. I put it in my finger by about 1/4 of an inch while trying to get it out of the package. Now, I'm not going to go crazy with the wood stabbing test because this is not really for that, but we'll go ahead and make sure we'll do some reasonable light stabs into some pine. And I'll do a little back and forth just to make sure the edge, you know, this is something that a normal knife should be able to handle without ruining it. And you can see that the blade point there is unharmed. Ergonomics, not the most comfortable knife in the world. For one thing, immediately when you grip this, you feel this clip. You definitely feel this clip. It does have sort of a little bit of a finger choil. There is no jimping. There is, you know, the finger choil is not deep, and this is very smooth. So if you're stabbing with this knife, unless you have a proper grip on it, this knife is going to end up slipping up into your hand and cutting your hand. So you need to be very, very careful with this. Ergonomics, it's actually, I'm going to hit it a point for those ergos because it's really just not there, but you know, it's probably part of the styling. But it would have been nice if they could have worked in a texture, but it just wouldn't look that pretty as it does. So what do you want, a good looking knife or some added functionality? I don't know. That's up to you and your taste. So the other last thing I'd just like to point out, it does have some torque screws, two torque screws to move the clip. So you can go ahead and disassemble this by removing the torque screws. Also, the pivot screw is also a Torx. One additional note really quick, I want to show you that the torsion bar can be removed. Now again, here's the torsion bar. You can see that bar back here. See, the blade is open out here. You can see that bar, and that bar pushes downward to do the assisted opening thing. And this can be removed. I wanted to go ahead and double check. Now you can see there's a screw down in there. What you do is you go ahead and remove that screw, and then once you do that, this torsion bar can slide out the back right there, out of that hole right there. So if you live in a country that has issue with assisted opening knives, you can go ahead and remove that, and then you'll be good to go with an ordinary folder. So how do I score this? Well, the pros is it's very lightweight, it's gorgeous, very good build quality, awesome deep carry clip, pretty sharp. I love the design. It's a very, very good defensive weapon. It's really, really good. The only con to the whole thing is just the ergonomics. I'm not, you know, it's not quite the most comfortable knife in the world, but that's the only thing I could hit this on. It really is an incredible, and I'm glad they didn't make this safety the automatic, because this Lark's safety on some CRKT knives automatically engages when you open it up, and then you have to, you know, it's almost a two-handed kind of thing to get that safety off, but that safety does not automatically engage. You have to do it, and I prefer that. But it's very hard to accidentally hit this, so you really don't have to worry about it. But and the safety does not do anything as far as keeping the knife closed. You can't even move it. It's only for locking it open. So you don't have to worry about that safety being on when you're trying to deploy this under duress if you have someone attacking you or something like that. So what am I giving this? Well, it cost $39 at Lowe's, which is a very good price when I looked on the internet. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. This is probably the first CRKT I've ever given such a high score to. Really, it's very, very nice. And the reason why it gets, you know, why I haven't basically graded CRKT higher as like a 9 out of 10 like this is because usually their blade steel is one notch below what it should be for the price. So what they did here is they used the Chinese version of AS8, which is the 8 CR14 MOV, and now I'm happy because it's AS8 equivalent, which is appropriate for a knife costing $39. Now I'm glad that they did not bead blast this blade, because bead blasting something like AS8 is asking for trouble as far as rust and corrosion. So you should go Lowe's for $40 if they have one of these in stock for $40. Absolutely get it. Just a really good deal. And something else about Lowe's, besides those crappy clamshell packaging. The good thing about Lowe's is if you're a military veteran and you can show a military ID, they will give you 10% off of anything in the store any day of the year, not just certain holidays. They give you 10% off all the time. So don't forget, if you're going to Lowe's, make sure you show your military ID to the person behind the register, and they will give you 10% off. It's an awesome deal. So this actually ended up costing me an unbelievably low price of $35. So I'm really liking the CRKT. The only other knife that I really liked from them a lot to this level is their M16, but it engages their little locking system automatically, which is one thing I didn't like. Okay, one last thing, if you're interested in some of my other reviews on CRKT knives, I'll go ahead and provide the links below to them for your convenience. So thank you very much for joining me here at the Gear Obsession channel. I really appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and you, and I hope you have a great evening. Take care.